Okay, so this is a video of my 2001 Yamaha Grizzly 600. As you can see, I've taken the front rack, front fender off. Gas tank is just sitting there, so it's connected to the carburetor to get gas. I've taken the back fender off just to access some of the electrical components. So, just a little bit of background on this ATV. Bought it used a few years back. Had some small little minor issues. Nothing major. A little bit of backfiring, which I was told was just a little bit. The carb was running a little bit on the lean side. Needed to be riched up a little bit. I bought some property, built a house on 80 acres, and brought the bike to my property. It originally was at my in-laws' camp, so we didn't get to use the bike too often. And again, had some smaller issues, but nothing too bad. Still ran it. Brought the bike here to my property in hopes to use it around. It's going to be a small little hobby farm, but in building the house, there's a lot of little things that we could have used it for. So brought it here with the intent to use it. The battery died on me, and I knew it was a weak battery, and it was having a hard time starting. The battery just didn't seem to have enough power. So my assumption at the time was that I needed a new battery. So what I did is I went and actually picked up a new battery. Same time I picked up a new battery, I actually went to Costco and picked up one of those fair size utility trailers because of the work that I was going to do. It didn't come fully assembled. So while I was assembling it, what I did is I had a young lad, a cousin of mine. He was 15, and he had one of his friends, and he was 16 at the time. And I looked at them and said, "Listen, guys, have you ever hooked up a battery to an ATV before?" The one young guy said, "Yeah, I have. We have one." Blah blah blah. So I said, "Listen, while I'm doing this, can you guys go hook the battery up? Let's get the quad running, and away we go." What happened is they connected the battery in reverse polarity and then went to start it. So I know that I fried some of the fuses. So we changed those. And from that point on, the bike has never started. Excuse me. So we tried to start. Went and picked up some new fuses, bought them, put them in. And at that point in time, the bike, when you would hit the starter button, it would just turn over, and that was it. It would just sort of continually turn over. Again, we are in the process of building a house. I was really busy. I'm not very mechanically inclined. So I decided to take it to a local shop, not an actual Yamaha dealership, but just a local small engine repair guy. He actually thought that there was something wrong. He obviously didn't really know what he was doing, because he basically told me that the engine was freewheeling, but the engine was tight. I guess what would happen is instead of you hooking a battery up and trying to start it, what they were doing is trying to pull start it. And if anybody who's ever had a Grizzly 600 has tried to do that, with these big engines, you just don't grab onto it and pull it. It'll rip your arm right off. So anyhow, I got the bike back. It was never fixed. One of the things that he changed on it was it's called the Bendix gear, and I believe the flywheel was changed on it. For some reason, he thought I needed new ones. When I looked at the ones that he had taken out, I really didn't see why I needed them, but I had picked those parts up on eBay, and the cost wasn't too bad. So I just figured I'd have spares anyhow. So now I'm running into an issue where it brings me to present day, where if I turn the key on, press my starter button, all I do is I get the little red light that tells me something's wrong. Now, looking through the manual and talking to a few people on Grizzly Central, I was told that, well, you're maybe possibly not technically in neutral, although the neutral light is on. So I played around with it, pushed the quad up and down a little bit, made sure that it was rolling and those kinds of things, and put it in reverse, put it back into neutral. So the neutral light is working. I know this push button switch, this start switch, is working. Just because if it wasn't working, I wouldn't get that red light. Now, if I pull the brake lever in and try and start it, I still get the same thing. So again, talking to some people on some of the forums, the Grizzly forums, and reading the manual, I was able to determine that I checked out some of the relays in the back. There's 1, 2, 3. I believe this is the starting relay, not the starting relay, but when I turn the quad on and off, there's an audible click. I'll just do that right here. And it is coming from there. I put my hand on there and actually felt for it. I believe this one here is the starter circuit cutoff relay. Now I checked all of these. I checked all 3 of them out for continuity. They all did have continuity. So the next thing that I was told to check is the starter relay, which is this puppy right here. Now, if I apply power directly to the starter motor, which is by putting a jumper cable right on this side, I am able to turn the engine over. So it does turn over. If I apply power to this side and press the button, it doesn't turn over, but I do hear a little bit of like a humming or a buzzing noise. You can actually sort of feel it. It's not very loud. But it is there, and maybe through the camera you wouldn't be able to hear it or obviously not feel it, but it is there. When I do apply power directly to here, or if I apply the positive power from a booster cable to here, I do notice that the fan motor does, the RPM on it does increase, and the green light here as well does increase. So I'm going to see if I can get a video of that. It's kind of hard. Just going to put the camera down for a second. Right now, I'm just hearing a little bit of an audible, it almost sounds like a little grinding. It's not going now, but it was. So I'm not really sure what that is. Okay, back to what I was doing. Just putting the camera down on the gas tank for 1 second. Turning some power on my booster. So the minute I touch my battery, it does, it's noticeable. All of a sudden now, you can hear, you can see the light is even brighter if I take it off. And the same goes if I go to that starter relay. Okay. No, let me just put this down again. Sorry for the blackout. Okay, so I have taken the starter relay off. It didn't check out for continuity, but again, I tested it out. I was able to jump it, by the way, and the motor does turn over. I did check the switch, so I know my main switch obviously works, because if it didn't, it wouldn't turn on like this. I do know that my headlights, I do know that the switch for those is working, because the minute I actually turn those on, I can hear the difference in the fan, which tells me that it's sucking power. So the minute I turn that on, you can feel the draw of power. And you can even hear it audibly there. I've checked the run stop switch. I think everything is coming out with continuity that it's supposed to. But there's always room for error, I guess, or especially if you're not mechanically inclined, which I am not. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just set the camera up. I guess a couple of the questions that I do have is, one question would be that with my starter relay, if I bypass that so that it goes directly to the starter motor, should that technically start my four-wheeler. The other question that I have is, while I'm trying to start the four-wheeler that way, if I try to turn on the choke or push the throttle, it seems to bog the circuit down. So I'm not sure if that's an issue with the engine, an issue with the carburetor, an issue with it grounding out possibly. I'm not 100% sure, and the reason for this video is to maybe possibly get some help in that with that respect. So I'm going to just place the camera and place the camera down so that while I test it, I'm hoping that it comes through on the video and that whoever is watching it can maybe help with some diagnosis of what's going on. So, keys on. I'm going to apply power to the starter relay on the left side. And nothing. Okay, so now I'm going to apply power and I'm going to hit the throttle. So it almost sounds like something's binding. Again, I'm not sure what that would be. Not sure why that would be happening. And again, same thing if I power. And that was with the choke on. So I'm really looking for help. I'm hoping that somebody can help me out as far as that goes. I have been looking on the manual and I'm following, as far as electrical is concerned, some of the electrical things that they're saying and following in sequence. Things seem to be where I'm supposed to have continuity. I have continuity. It's a little bit frustrating, but I'm hoping that yeah, somebody can help. So fan is off. Let's turn that key off. Excuse me. When I turn the key off, I can actually hear the audible click in the relay in the back. So I'm not sure if it's I know chances are my starter relay is screwed, but I'm just wondering what else is going on. Excuse me. All right, that's it for now. Thanks.